Yo, Dragon, what's with all these bored apes taking over the internet?
I hear you, man. It's like fear of an ape planet. I'm excited to get into this.
Let's make it simple. Let's go. NFTs are changing the world, and change can feel complicated and scary. But listen, you don't need a computer science degree. You don't need to learn how to code. You just need practical skills to win.
If you are here, you are in the 1% of humans that are preparing for this major cultural shift. We're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it light. We're going to make it practical. Welcome to NFTs Made Simple.
Just a reminder, we're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, and you should do your own research.
Hey, let's get into it.
So, Dragon, the Bored Ape Yacht Club is one of the most notoriable, if that's a word, one of the biggest NFTs on the market. I think it is, if not the biggest NFT on the market. It is very, very well known. So break it down. How did Bored Ape Yacht Club start? Why should we care? Let's kind of break down what Bored Apes are and why they're important to the NFT market. Why don't you take us back in time?
Yeah, all I can say, and I've shot myself in the foot many times on this NFT thing, just like with Series 1 with Gary. But I mean, I remember the first time this came out, and I just thought it was the stupidest idea in the world. The fact that they called it Bored Apes, I just didn't get it. But, forgive me for I knew not what I was talking about back then. I didn't understand NFTs. But I think a lot of people, if we go back, a lot of people noticed the first thing that we thought was stupid was CryptoPunks. I remember when that came out, I figured my 12-year-old's probably going to be into that, getting some new skins and hitting up my iTunes bill or something like that. But I didn't understand about collectibles and stuff. And once again, you and I are VFriends owners, and we're part of that community. And, I just give so much credit and value to Gary for probably being the pioneer that got a lot of people on high alert. So yeah, Bored Apes, it's an interesting thing. So first of all, there's the Bored Ape, and then there's Bored Ape Yacht Club. The Bored Ape Yacht Club is a community, but this is coming from decrypt.co, and we'll provide you with the links. But basically, it was developed by Yuga Labs, and that's the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And it's a collection, or was a collection, it is and it was, of 10,000. So these little pictures that you see of apes, there's 10,000 of them. And then they were all minted as NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's important to understand, is that these were made and minted on the Ethereum blockchain. And as a quick reminder, if you've been through our show, an NFT, a non-fungible token, made these things basically deeds of ownership, So, you get a digital item and you get a deed of ownership for it. And what that does is it allows the buyers to basically prove that they own that thing and nobody else does. It's a one-of-a-kind version. So in that case of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, buyers own basically an illustration of a disinterested looking ape. That's hence the word bored. It's funny. If you look at them, I don't think a lot of people notice this, Mark, but all of the faces of the Bored Ape Yacht Club are ones of sarcasm. So it's pretty interesting how it's become the choice NFT avatar of celebrities and stuff like that. It's just like almost making fun of the world. But disinterested looking apes with randomly generated traits and accessories. No two apes of the 10,000 are alike. They all have all these attributes and traits. So what's interesting about that, and we're going to get into it, but I just want to state just the power of this thing, and we'll talk about the utility of community and everything. But the Bored Ape Yacht Club is not alone on that front. So after CryptoPunks, Bored Ape, came on the scene, then many NFT, profile pic collections sprung up after. So people have heard about World of Women, Cool Cats, but Bored Apes has, just basically become the in crowd and closed up the market by, grabbing all of the who's who. And here's just a quick little did you know? I told this to Mark, and he didn't really absorb it and believe it yet, but
I believe you, Dragon. I believe you.
Well, it wasn't necessarily about me, but it's just like, what? Just to give everybody an idea what that little thing that you think is a JPEG is worth, and we're going to explain why it's worth so much. The record sale for one single Bored Ape. Now there's 10,000 of them, everybody. The record sale for one of them, one of those NFTs was 740 ETH. Now, if you want to do the math to find out how much ETH was worth, it was about $2.9 million. And that was in September of 2021. And it was actually, I didn't even tell you this, Mark. You know who bought that? It was actually bought by the Ethereum-based programmer that everybody knows called the Sandbox. So the Sandbox, that is one of the massive players in the selling of land and the digital land in the metaverse, actually was the one that bought that one. So I guess we could say that the Sandbox, the ultimate flex is if you meet Mr. Sandbox, he's got that 740 ETH, Bored Ape. So
and I don't even know that Sandbox is an actual person. Sandbox is a metaverse that people play, and I have some friends that are big into that video game community. I do want to lay out a couple interesting facts about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, just so we can kind of give a little bit of context as to what this is and why it's important to NFTs. So as you mentioned, it's a PFP collection, profile pic collection, okay, which was inspired maybe by CryptoPunks and has inspired many, many copycats since then. I mean, how many apes are there out there now? There's tons of them, but Bored Apes were the OGs. They launched officially in April of 2021. Okay, during like the massive hype of the NFT market. As of now, June of 2022, the floor price, meaning the cheapest Bored Ape you can get, it's starting at 95 ETH. So basically, if you were to buy one today, just the cheapest one is going to cost you about 170 grand.
I was going to say something funny and say, so what's that, like $95 because of what ETH is worth now?
Well, ETH is at, I think, 1,700. So, 95 ETH is still a pretty penny. It's not as much as, 3 to 4 million. But I kind of wanted to, because like the common misconception I think that people have is that these are just JPEGs. I can just copy and paste. And I'm sure that there's people out there in Twitter that are just copying and pasting just so they can get their flex game on. But I think that, and I want to go deeper into all the different utilities, the roadmap that Bored Ape is plotting out. But, during that hype train where these were just selling for millions of dollars, a lot of this Bored Ape hype was based around being part of the club, being part of an exclusive club. I mean, people paid lots of money to be in these exclusive clubs. And I'm just going to read off some of the names of some of the Bored Ape Yacht Club holders. You've got Justin Bieber, Jimmy Kimmel, Shaquille O'Neal, Snoop Dogg, Madonna, Neymar, Paris Hilton, Steve Aoki, like the list goes on and on.
So, I just want to comment on what you just said. You said Neymar, the fact that Neymar is, involved in this, because I would assume Neymar, and for those of you that don't know who Neymar is, he's just a sick soccer player, probably second most famous to, or third most famous to like Ronaldo and Messi. But if that dude is buying these things, it's like somebody told him to. Somebody said like, this is good. I mean, he's got more money than he needs, but that just shows you like the influence, that's out there.
And, a lot of these PFP projects are always talking about community, private Discord. And, I don't know if it's worth $1 million to me or 2 million or 3 million, but being part of an exclusive club with like top 5 world-renowned soccer players, top 5 musicians, etc., pretty big deal. And I mean, listen, there's 10,000 of these. We're only scraping the surface as to all this, really, really big people that are involved in the project. So it's been a really interesting thing. And, I don't think it's a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit more about, why this has gotten on my radar, and I'll let you kind of share your version of this. But the Bored Ape Yacht Club recently announced their own blockchain, or their own cryptocurrency, Ape Coin. So why don't we talk a little bit about Ape Coin? Because I own a little bit Dragon, you own a little bit. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about Ape Coin and what it's there for, why you ended up purchasing some of it?
Well, what's interesting about that is, I mean, first of all, I like to think I'm pretty cool, but I don't have the cool factor and ability to go buy a Bored Ape at this phase of my life. But I do have the ability to get involved, whether it be through their metaverse, and that's another thing we're going to talk about, or I could buy, some of these Ape Coin. First of all, what's cool about when Ape Coin came out is that's a reflection of what the company, the entity of Bored Ape, is doing. Because keep in mind, like you have a tendency of looking at these guys that buy the Bored Apes. So yeah, they get access. Part of the utility is they get access to a private Discord where, just like Mark and I are buddies, like I can go in there and now I can start rubbing shoulders with like Madonna. It's like it's an automatic in-crowd mutual respect that you basically have purchased. So there's that, from a networking standpoint and things like that. But also think about it. They've generated, I think they've been valued at incredible amounts, but I think they generated like $750 million, so I
have total sales over 1 billion.
Okay. So they're at $1 billion now. So this is a $1 billion company that has the ability to invest, and I'm going to get to Ape Coin in a second. So they're in there investing in, other NFT projects. So think about it. You launch an NFT project, Bored Ape Yacht Club gets involved in it, releases the first, mint to their, either for free as a fringe benefit or like for 3 ETH. Everybody in there buys something, that thing blows up. So they've got spending power. But then also when you see a company like that, and this is new, this is all coming, I'm waiting for, Gary to have a cryptocurrency as well, because there's 2 cool things about that. It means that the members of Bored Ape that are holding their apes are not only getting that utility of the community, but they're also probably getting like dividends. Like they're probably getting stock in the company. Like the company is probably, to keep them there, because remember, if they hold their NFTs, the value goes up because other people can't get them. There's a lot of dudes out there that have the money to buy a Bored Ape, but people might not be inclined to sell it yet because value is going up. So when I saw the Ape Coin come out, that's when I started to say, I said 2 things. I said, okay, so this is a reflection that they're turning this into a business. All these powerhouse people are coming together and investing in projects, like almost like a mastermind. So these are the dividends that are going out. I also liked the fact, and first of all, if I buy Ape Coin, and you see this even during this just massacre of NFTs and this winter that they say of NFTs and crypto, Ape Coin held. It's there. I mean, it did go down a little bit, but it's obvious that it's not going anywhere like a lot of other things. So I like the fact that we can track the success, like they're openly saying, you can track the success of our company. We have an actual cryptocurrency. So yeah, I mean, so many interesting things on the horizon for these guys.
I love that point about transparency, Dragon. And I just want to clarify a couple things. This is NFTs made simple, and we kind of live and breathe this. So some of the things that we say in passing might not be obvious to the everyday person. So, you mentioned a couple, I think, key concepts here, in that, if you own a Bored Ape, you have not the potential, but you're going to be getting airdrops, meaning that the company can automatically, Bored Ape in this case, can automatically send NFTs and cryptocurrencies into your wallet automatically. You don't have to do anything, right? So we consider that like a dividend. Ape Coin is a cryptocurrency that, as far as I can tell, is used to purchase assets in the other side metaverse. Other side being the Bored Ape Yacht Club's metaverse. And when we say metaverse, we're talking about a virtual, I would consider it kind of like a game, but it's a virtual place where you can interact with other people, play games, collect, you can buy plots of land.
Hey, what's up? Mark here. Just want to take you on a quick break with a resource I think is really going to help you. Some of the concepts that we're covering in the show sound really complicated and really technical. But listen, you don't need to code. You don't need to get a master's degree in computer science. All you need to do is have the right resources. We're going to make it simple. We're going to make it easy. I've got a link below. Go to www.nftsmadesimple.com. That's nftsmadesimple.com. You're going to get a free cheat sheet there. It's 100% free. What are you waiting for? Go get the cheat sheet. We're going to break down some of the key definitions in ways that are really practical and really simple. Go to nftsmadesimple.com right now to get your free cheat sheet. That's nftsmadesimple.com. All right, let's get back into the show.
So this to me is a really interesting concept. When I'm looking at which cryptocurrencies, which NFTs are really going to hold the test of time, you need to have a place, an online place where people want to be, where people want to hang out. We were talking about Decentraland a little bit before our recording. The Sandbox we talked about, that's a really popular metaverse. And historically you can think of places like, World of Warcraft or I don't know, World of Warcraft or Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, these places that have their own, because World of Warcraft, I think is a really good example because there's an actual economy. If you're able to, let's say, farm a particular product, you can sell it for real dollars. And I think that that's a good model for what can work in the metaverse. The big question mark to me, Dragon, is, this other side metaverse. Great. I've got some NFTs. Bored Ape is launching all these mini NFT projects for their other side metaverse. I've got Ape Coin, but if nobody is in the other side metaverse, none of this stuff matters. And so to me, that's an exposure is, can they execute? Can they deliver a virtual place that we actually want to spend time? That's the big question.
They're gonna go way past delivering. Cause just think about it. You name some of those famous people, whether it's a professional athlete like Neymar or Madonna, right? So when these people step on a field or on a stage, how many people buy tickets to go to that concert, right? So if Madonna is going to be hanging out, and keep in mind in the metaverse, you can refrain from being your true loser self, right? Like imagine going to meet Madonna one day and you're like Mr. Awesome, right? Because anybody can pretend to be anybody in there. So like, that's going to be exciting to be like, show up as your meta self. So when I say that they're going to go way past succeeding at this, when they created, and for those of you that haven't seen what the other side looks like, it's not just a cool place where apes hang out. It's like super cool. Some of these metaverse projects that I'm seeing, like, it's cool. The idea is cool, but it's a little bit mechanical looking. What I'm seeing the metaverse do is almost give you like a Fortnite vibe. Like I can tell that they're trying to attract not just a couple of dads, right? They're trying to attract people that live in the metaverse, but this is a different kind of metaverse because they're going to start spending serious money in there. So just go YouTube it or something like that. Maybe we'll throw a link in of a video that shows you what the other side looks like. But just to show you how powerful it is, and there's a little bit of a conspiracy theory attached to this. Just recently, Yuga Labs, the creators, they actually had their first sale. Now, keep in mind, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, hence also the metaverse, that exists on the Ethereum blockchain. So they had their first sale of land there. Now, what's interesting, I was talking to Mark about this, the fact that they call it like land, like what I mean by that is like you can go into the other side or any metaverse, Sandbox and things like that, and buy a plot of land. Now, if you think about it, that plot of land is actually an NFT as well. Because remember, an NFT is a digital asset, right? And it's unique and it's non-fungible and all that stuff. So, God, I'm going to try to not go too deep into this, but like I just want you to be aware of some things that are going on. So they released their first sale, and I think they generated like within an hour or so, like $320 million of selling land. And it made the Ethereum blockchain so congested, and this is the birthplace of the potential conspiracy theory, that the Ethereum blockchain just got completely crushed, and people were in there bidding on land and taking like almost an hour for it to go through. And then on the other side of it, when the sale was over, they didn't get any land, but they spent like $1,000 in gas fees. So this created a big, big mess. We're going to put a link in the notes for this from Fortune magazine. You can just see like this was big news because here's this sale of something that was so successful it actually crushed the system. And and we all know that the system already has flaws about gas fees and all that stuff. So it exposed that, but it also exposed the fact that, technically the Yuga Labs and the brains behind this, they probably knew that was going to happen. Because they have so much spending power. So the conspiracy theory is that they actually deliberately did that so that they could have a platform to pitch the idea of Bored Ape Yacht Club. So remember, Ape Coin, the Discord, all that. Now there's talk about Bored Ape having their own, forget about cryptocurrency, their own blockchain, right? So what's interesting about this is the most interesting part of it for me. And this is deep thoughts with Dragon here for a second. And this is going to take even like the nerdy NFT crypto people to a new space, right? And I'm not on drugs right now. So if I can buy a piece of land, Mark, right? And it's an NFT, which means I can sell it, right? Technically, if I'm buying land, would you agree that I'm buying a piece of something bigger, which is the metaverse, right? So there's the other side, and I'm buying a little piece of it. So I'm kind of like a stakeholder by owning that, just like owning a Bored Ape in something bigger. Am I right?
Oh, you definitely,
Okay.
I mean, you definitely are. If you own land, you haven't, because the land is only as valuable as the people that are in that metaverse.
So here's why I'm excited about NFTs. Okay. One of the 100 reasons I am. If that's the case, and we know that a piece of land in the metaverse is really the same thing as any NFT, it's, the same thing as my Dragonfly, V friend, right? Technically, this means that an NFT in itself could possibly be something that you will in the future be able to offer people stake in. Think about that for a second. We have this idea right now that if I buy an NFT, it's mine, it's unique, and if I want, I can sell it, right? But what if I wanted to like timeshare it? Think about this. If I own a Bored Ape, right? How cool would it be if I could say, hey, Mark, I know you can't afford to buy my Bored Ape for $2.9 million, but if you want, you could have it in June for, $20K or something like that. And then this way you get in and you get out. So I'm just noticing some of these trends that are happening, and you can see it a mile away. And what the reason why that excites me is it just further validates why you and I started this podcast, because I don't know when it's going to happen. Gary talks about the fact that, after the winter, the long haul, look at VeeFriends, you look at Bored Ape, the people that get through it and the cryptocurrencies, that's where the real stupid money is going to be made. But I'm just seeing all of these different possibilities and potentials that could just blow up into something, and there's also talk about like the future of warfare and cryptocurrency and NFTs. It's like crazy what you see happening in Ukraine. So that's all I got on that. But man, this is something amazing is happening, and we're just fortunate enough to be alive during it.
Absolutely. And again, listening to a podcast like this is putting you on the right path, because you are in the top 1% of the 1% of people that are ready for this transition. There's a couple points I want to make before we close out this episode, Dragon. But, we're talking about land in the other side metaverse. Again, the Bored Apes metaverse. The floor price right now is about just under 3 Ethereum. There's 100,000 plots of land. Some of those plots of land are basically going to be worthless. Some of them are going to be very valuable. As far as I can tell, it's impossible right now to determine which plots of land are going to be valuable, which aren't. So again, the Bored Ape Yacht Club it's not just about owning one of those Bored Apes. It's about owning the land. There's several other types of NFTs that you can own within that metaverse as well.
Let me say something quick on that. You know what gentrification is, right? So if I buy a house in a neighborhood and all of the other houses go up in price, what that means is that neighborhood will be a place that you can sell your house for, a nice profit one day. So that's going to happen in the metaverse too, because would you agree that if you buy a piece of land and you're Justin Bieber's next door neighbor, it's going to be worth more money, right?
Well, yeah, like Snoop Dogg owns a piece of land in the Sandbox, and all the land around him has gone up.
Well, if you find out where these dudes own land in the metaverse, you're going to see prices go up. So it's nuts. Because keep in mind, this is like digital stuff.
Right. But, okay. So I also want to add to that. I'm not as bullish on the Bored Ape Yacht Club personally. I hope that they can really execute. And I got to say, the initial impression I got from watching the the video of this Bored Ape jumping around the metaverse looks really good. It looks really good, but that's not a fully executed project, right? So I also want, we're going to have a link below to some of the vision, but it's not extremely difficult to create a video of, a small sample size. It's not difficult. So I don't want anyone to just go nuts and start buying up a bunch of other side real estate just based on that quick video. It looks sharp. It looks really good, but they still, in my opinion, the Bored Apes still have a lot of proving to do. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And what they say, when you say but, forget everything that you said before that. But Bored Apes are definitely one of the OGs. They definitely have a ton of name recognition, which is very valuable. And, I don't know, we'll see what happens. The big question to me is, can they execute on bringing in people like you? And because that's great, that, the Madonnas of the world.
Man. We bought Ape Coin.
Yeah, I did buy some Ape Coin, but that's kind of like a hedge. I'm not I'm not all in, but I spent a few $100 on some Ape Coin. What the key here for, in my opinion, on Bored Apes is, can they maintain the long tail? You've got the big winners, the people that are way in it. Most people don't have $100 grand, 50 grand, 20 grand, even $1,000 to jump in on a project. Are you able to get the everyday person like you and me, the listeners out there? Are you able to get us buying in on the project at a lower level and provide us with the same value that you could provide the main club holders? Let's see. That is the test in my book.
Well said. And I would say I am foolishly bullish, just because I just love the idea. I mean, here's the way I look at it. And this is my exclamation point. If you look at if I went to a meeting, right, and I saw all the people that are involved in Bored Ape there, and they were all mutually interested in what the meeting was about, I wouldn't even fucking care what the meeting was about. I'd be in. You know what I mean? It's like there's a certain level of financial mixed with ego that doesn't fail. Those are the kind of people that don't want to be known for getting involved in something stupid. So I know that even during a drought, there's going to be stupid money pushed into things. Yeah, I mean, these are very wealthy people, but they don't want to lose millions of dollars, and they also don't want to be labeled as a fool. You know what I mean? So I like the idea of going where the money is.
I can't fault your logic. I could give you some buts, but I think we've really covered the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and we'd love to hear from you. Go to nftsmadesimple.com and let us know what you think about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Dragon, thanks for the show, brother.
Awesome.